welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UKOCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
Listening to the 10th most popular podcast for people who understand that there are only two types of rugby union and rugby union sevens.
This show is brought to you in partnership with Builder International, the world's strongest hydration drink. You can get your discount at Builder International, that's BLDR international.com, and use discount code UKHXR. There's a link in the description if you want to see it. But don't take our word on why you should drink it. Here's Tom Hogan from the Elite 15 telling you why you should buy it.
Hi, it's Tom here. You should buy Builder because you may not be able to look like world champion Hunter McIntyre, but you can definitely drink and perform like him.
Yeah, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half. You're looking very smart tonight.
I am indeed, Alan. I've just got home from work. I should be saying I just got home from the gym, but traffic.
Oh, I was in traffic today. I've been working in Sheffield. I now know why I don't drive to work in a town centre. It took me 35 minutes to travel a mile.
Sheffield's a weird place when it comes to driving. There's lots of hills as well.
Yeah, and every road looks the same. My sat-nav actually took me down one road and there was a gate at the end that said, no way. No, Alan, you're not coming through here, mate. Turn around. I was like, I hope this is not a one-way street.
What a really nice personalised gate.
Well, Alan, you're not coming through. I loved it.
Just think, I would have been able to get through, but it was just restricting Alan. So, oh well.
That's it. And at 35 minutes for 1 mile, that's my usual running pace anyway. So I could have actually run that quicker than I could have, well, nearly quicker than I was driving it.
It's depressing when you start working that out. But yeah, my day went from, the sat-nav, it's only 40 minutes to get to a gym, and gradually that creeped to an hour 20. And I had to record with you, of course, so So I'll get up early. I'll do something early in the morning.
Oh, nice one. Nice one. I've been self-gymming for the last 7 days. So every morning, every evening, I've increased my sit-ups, my press-ups. So I do them every morning and evening anyway, but I've increased it just because it's too hot to go running in the morning or in an evening at the minute.
I can understand that. We're discussing this. I'm sure I was discussing this at work, and I wonder if listeners are feeling this. It's like we've missed out the nice period. We've gone from freezing cold rain to really, really hot. We missed out spring.
Spring's vanished. The daffodils, where are the daffodils and the bluebells gone?
Exactly. So, Alan, I'm going to ask you, what are you drinking?
Oh, tonight I am on a Hobgoblin Ruby beer, 4.5%. I wasn't going to drink, but yeah, I thought, why not? It's Swift Half. You've got to drink it Swift Half.
You do. And Alan, mentioning about the Hobgoblin, that reminds me, they're part of like almost craft beer. I know it's ale, but it was almost craft beer before craft beer got trendy. So you had Hobgoblin, you had Bishop's Finger, and you had Witchwood and various ones. I think Hobgoblin's Witchwood. And you also, Alan, had Black Sheep.
Now, Black Sheep still goes round. My local had Black Sheep another week.
It does, but it went into administration recently.
No.
But don't worry, listener, the sheep has been saved.
Wow. Who's bought it? You're going to tell me Brewdog's bought it, aren't you?
No, I think it's just not an independent brewery, but I think a independent equity house or someone similar. So thankfully, I don't think they're going to change. I think it was just an investment. So it's going to be run as Black Sheep. It's not going to be absorbed, which is good because Black Sheep, it's not bad. It's one of those that you can go in a pub, and if they don't have craft ale on or anything like that, usually they'll have a bottle of Black Sheep.
Yeah. When I was in Bridlington last week, there's a little microbrewery in Bridlington, and it's a shop, but you go in and drink, and they're actually brewing it around you, but it's very rustic. It's not like when I've been to breweries before where you go and do the taste test and that, the big copper cylinder pipes, and things like that. Oh no, this was one man in this shop. He'd hired a shop and he got plastic tubs, and he was like, actually, while he was serving you, he was brewing. It was a one-man show, and it was good to watch, showing what he was doing, and he was bottling his own beers and things like that. I've got to admit the beers they were good, they tasted good, but they were all cloudy. And I wanted to see one that wasn't. It did say the hops are used and that make it cloudy, like a Hazy Jane, but I wanted to see one that wasn't cloudy, if you know what I mean.
No, that makes sense. A friend of mine who I know from Tough Mudder called Benton, who we met at Worlds, and anyone who was at Worlds would have met him. He's a brewer, and he giggles a little bit when I say my favourite's hazy because he says that's the easiest to make.
Yeah, because you're not looking to make it clear.
Yeah, there's a skill to making it clear. But speaking of cloudy drinks, Alan, I'm drinking alcohol today.
Oh, Ian, what are you drinking today?
I got this sample, a Strongbow tropical cider.
Oh, so you don't even know, but you're on cider. That can look
I
tiny.
am. Yeah, no, it's just massive hands.
That can looks the size of a thimble.
It's 150 milliliters.
So it's what's that, a quarter of a pint?
I don't even know. It was free. It came at work occasionally. We get free samples, and what we're surmising is that this would have been a promotional one. So, for example, not at Tough Mudder because they get full size cans, but you occasionally get alcohol suppliers who go to races and do promotional ones. You know the ones where they won't give it you unopened. They open it and thrust it in your hand.
Yep, I get that.
And we think that's how these started life out as, but evidently they didn't go anywhere, so they ended up in our staff room.
Like it. I like it. Did you get quite a few? Did you put a few in your bag?
No, I'm not greedy. I didn't really drink any at work, so this is the one that I would have drank at work.
Nice one. I'm hoping to come back from ETM this week with a few freebie beers. I would like a few freebie beers from Brewdog. If anyone at Brewdog's listening, hit me up, UKOCR 10. Just drop a few cases in there.
Thank God for that. For a second, Alan, I thought you were hustling our listeners then and saying, I'm looking forward to coming back because we have fantastic listeners. And a lot of time when we go to events, we do come back with beer.
Yeah, we do. And I wasn't meaning, Alison. I mean, what was it? So we've Matt Rigby. Matt Rigby's given us beer.
Yep.
Mike Nolan.
Stephen Fell.
Stephen Fell.
Steve Fell. And there's a couple I'm forgetting. Martin Gemmell.
Yeah, Martin brought it all the way down from Scotland for us.
He really did. You know, I'm sure I've still got that engine oil in the fridge that he got us ages ago from the original McTuff. And by original McTuff, I think Tough Guy was still going when he got this can. It might be actual engine oil now.
I think we're actually getting a reputation, Ian.
Yeah, I can live with this reputation. It's fine. So, speaking of, well, this is a really, really poor segue, but we were talking either last week or week before, we were talking about backyard ultras, and we were talking about Suffolk Ultra and the breaking of the record.
Well, me and you were hooked on it. We were sending messages backwards and forth, and I was talking to a bunch of Jamie and Rob. I was sending messages to them, and the message were going backwards and forwards. Was it 74 they got? 74 yards?
Something like that, back in the day. But Alan, it's been smashed.
I know. Ian, this is this is like unbelievable. This is like running an 8-second 100 meters.
Yeah, it was at a race called Dead Cow Gully, which I think is in America. I'm fairly sure this is the quality of the research I've done into this, but I didn't know. This has definitely put this race on the map because no one was aware of it. Actually, no, it's in Australia, Alan.
Oh, wow.
It's in Aussie land.
Well, that would be gully, wouldn't it? Gully's an Australian word, so.
Gully is an Australian word. So a gentleman called Phil Gore, Alan, I can't even, there's 3 digits in this. He got 102 yards.
Oh, mate. Can you imagine the guy who's got 100 and what was it? Who was the one who got 101 or the girl which got 101?
Sam Harvey. I believe it's a guy, but yeah, 102 yards, which is over 400 miles. Yeah, it will be over 400 miles.
So the crazy thing is, how many days is that when you think about it? 24, 48, 96 is 4 days. So he's done 4 days and 6 hours.
4 days and a quarter.
4 1/4 days and with a minimal sleep, cat napping.
And in Australia, I guess it is Australia's winter at the moment, but it won't be that cool in Australia.
With a name like Dead Cow Gully, I don't think it's going to be a cool place.
No, I can't imagine it would be. But yeah, so the Aussies have brought the record.
Thank God the farmyard has a limit on it.
And very few Aussies.
Yeah. Touching on farmyard, registrations are open to general public now. Quick one in there. Just get my little segue in there. Does that mean I have to pay for advertising on this show now?
Probably. More than likely. I'll speak to a treasurer. That's what we need, Alan. We need a treasurer.
We've got an HR. I told Wendy that Wendy actually heard the other day. She listened to the podcast. Hey, we put her in charge of HR, and she said I was right. She is going to sack us all.
Mate, we get Wednesdays back.
We get Wednesdays back.
I can watch the Champions League again.
A lot of action in the football scene at the moment. Lots of people moving backwards and forwards, being sold.
You started a football chat, and you know my interest in football starts in August and ends, well, usually about September, but that's the joy of being a fan of a team I'm a fan of. But yeah, okay, Alan, who's moving and where are they moving?
Oh, you can ask me. I know Chelsea's bought someone. I'm not going to go through it. There's loads of movement at the moment. It's open season, but the big one is what is moving is England almost moved in front in the Ashes.
They almost moved in front of the Ashes.
2 wickets, yeah. They lost the first test by 2 wickets.
And again, yeah, I'll probably be interested in cricket for the next 4 or 5 weeks. And that's me done again. But speaking about England and moving, I know it was a bit of a nothing game. I'm sorry, North Macedonia, but it was. But how great was it to actually watch England playing outside of Wembley?
I think they should do it more often. I've said this all along that Wembley's an absolutely amazing stadium. Even years ago when it was an amazing stadium back pre to in the 1990s before it changed to which one it is now. Amazing stadium then, amazing stadium now. But if England are playing friendlies or not playing a major tournament, yeah, let's move it around the country because there's more people live around the country. It's not everyone lives in London, and London's not the easiest place to get in and out of.
Wembley is not the easiest place to get in and out. It's a little bit easier than Twickenham, but in and of itself, Wembley is on a weird underground line, which if you're on that underground line, amazing. But getting onto that, for most places, you have to go into London, then out. So it's a bit...
Yeah. Well, it's an underground line that goes overground.
It really is. It's one you can use your phone on, Alan, because you're above ground and you can get service. But it would be good just to see, games like this where no one's asking for like the England-Germany matches to be moved. But like a game this week, the people who went at Old Trafford probably had an absolutely great time.
Yeah. I think they've done Newcastle before, haven't they? I'm sure they've done Newcastle ground at some point.
Yeah, I think they have, and they need to come to Barnsley.
They need to come to Donny Rovers, mate. Doncaster Rovers through and through. Fetch them to
Do they play at Keepmoat, or is that the rugby?
They do, yeah. Keepmoat.
Nice stadium.
It is, surrounded by lakes.
Yep, it is indeed. I think you've got one pitch outside, I think, because American football used to be played, but you've got a grass pitch outside it.
That's it, yeah.
It used to be played there. Anyway, we've gone way, way, way off track. Should we talk some more OCR?
Let's talk OCR. Let's go race this week, UKOCR series race. Going to be touched on by our Who's Hot team, but let's give some big shouts. Did you watch any of the footage? I'm going to shout first of all to Fabian at Mud and Glory for actually putting live footage out on Facebook. I was hooked. I was watching it throughout.
I do love the fact that the OCR media community keeps stepping up. Fabian is, I think he's untouched at what he does when it comes to putting together live coverage like that at OCRs.
It was brilliant. We talked the other week about Claire doing it for us at UKOCR at the Euros and giving that running commentary. Fabian was just as good, taking nothing away from Claire. Claire was amazing. Fabian was amazing. It was brilliant. I absolutely loved listening to it. It's great rather than just watching footage to actually hear someone talking about it, and telling you what's going off. Great race in the men's. Absolutely amazing race in the men's. Dan Titcombe winning by a good, I want to say 5-6 minutes. back on form, Dan. Well done to Dan. Second, third, and fourth was super close. Jason Brunnett came into the last set of obstacles with about I want to say a 50-meter lead on Morgan, and Morgan had a 10-15-meter lead on Samuel Clark, and it was getting close. At one stage, it looked like Morgan had caught Jason, and then he had to go back and redo the tyres because he'd not put both feet in one of the tyres. So Jason got a little bit ahead again, and then Samuel will come in, and then Jason, oh bless him, he went up it must have. I've been told it was in the race brief at the beginning that you couldn't go up the hay bales over the van. You had to make a minimum of 2 attempts at the van. First of all, 2 valid attempts, and he went up the hay bales, and he got on the top of the van, and the marshal told him how to come back down. At this point, as he jumped down, Morgan was there. Morgan got up, and I mean, Jason, bless him, it was literally a fraction behind going across the line, less than a second. Samuel fourth.
It's such a shame because I know we were working on trying to get a rule book ready for, I say we, I'm using the royal we. British Obstacle Sports was doing all the hard work of trying to get a rule book beforehand. Would it have made a difference? I don't know. It's just a shame, isn't it? Because you mentioned it was at the race brief, but that was how many K before? 10K?
14K or 14K race, I believe.
Was it a 14K race? Yeah, that's a lot of racing. And if they're there, John Albon said this, didn't he, a couple of years back, that good obstacles should be you look at it and you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because he had that once, didn't he, a European, where he got to it was just an innocuous rope. So he started, he jumped off the obstacle and started climbing the rope. When in actual fact, what you were meant to do was use it as a rope swing over a piece of sticky back plastic, a piece of masking tape, which was on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame. We're getting better, though. I think this was the first race that we didn't have a rule book.
Yeah, we've had rule books, all the others. This was a lot, we was trying to get one. DB Max Events, James has actually been so busy setting the race up itself. I mean, we're not talking about a little race here. We're talking, this is a big race. This is not a big company. This is not 500 people working. This is very similar to some of the original races where there's 4 or 5 people putting all these obstacles up for 2 weeks, getting it all done. And yeah, it's unfortunate that it happened, but I mean, big shout out to Jamie and his team. Did absolutely amazing down there. It would have been great to have a rule book. I'm not sure it would have changed because I think you've got to have read it. You've got to have read the rule book and know the rules inside out. And at that point, I think Jason had his race brain on. And just when, it was there in front of him, he came off the last obstacle, the A-bills were there, he went up them, and it maybe a marshal actually stood at that thing rather than looking for 2 or 3 events. Maybe that could have stopped it. I think with a rule book, I don't think the rule book would have stopped it, if I'm honest.
No, you're probably right. And I think the point that I'm probably leaning into is obstacles should be obvious as you're coming up to them, or maybe do what Tough Mudder do and have the signs up. But, Alan, if that's the only negative about the whole race, it's a minor thing in the grand scheme of things. As you say, people can make mistakes irrespective of. It's so easy. Like sometimes you can come up to an over-under and just mess up, or a weaver or something like that. It's so easy just to make little minor errors of judgment, and it shouldn't take away from, say, a second through to fourth was just a great race.
Absolutely amazing. The women's was a different kettle of fish. Josie Lloyd ran away with it. Feddy ran away with second, and Becky ran away with third. It was literally there was big gaps between those first three women.
Josie's doing well, isn't she?
She stepped up, hasn't she? She stepped up into the ring.
I know we didn't do any start of year predictions, but with all due respect to Josie, would she have appeared at this time in the events? Would you have put her where she is?
She was on my radar. Yeah, so I've spoke to people last year who talked about her, and everyone had talked about what she'd done last year, and she was going to come in and she was going to smash it. More on the Spartan side, but she's showing she's not just a Spartan racer. She's showing that she's got ability to run other races as well. So
I do like that in the UK. You don't see it in America too much. You do with some people, but in America, you do see Spartan racers and obstacle racers. Whereas in the UK, maybe it's just historic because we didn't have that many Spartans, so it was impossible to just do Spartans. But a lot of our good Spartan racers are also good OCR racers too.
Yes, very much so. While we're touching on the UKOCR series, Ian, quick update for people who are listening about this regarding Total Warrior. If you're wanting to run in Total Warrior, I think I've said this last week, I'm going to say it again, in Total Warrior in the UKOCR series that's supported by British Obstacle Sports, you need to register in any wave and send me an email at admin@UKOCR with your registration details. I will get you into wave one. It needs to be done before, as you're listening to this, the Saturday after. Okay, so that's the 20. In fact, this Saturday. So it needs to be done by this Saturday. You need to get it in ASAP so I can get it over to Total Warrior so they can change them, because we're only a week away from the next race series at Total Warrior.
Does that mean, Alan, that we got the Who's Hot team working overtime?
We have, yes. We have got Who's Hot working overtime. Double episode.
Do you know when we were recruiting and we got a great person to replace Mark in Mr. Shipley? You know when we were recruiting, yeah?
Yeah.
Were we honest with how much time it would take out of his day?
Well, it's taking a lot of time out of his day because he's got his own podcast as well now, hasn't he? Which I think they're on the 4th episode, Accountability Corner, and they're talking about lifting yourself up after a bad race and that. He's working triple time. But it's, I think it's good. But whether he came up with the idea before he joined Uzo or afterwards, it doesn't matter to me. But I just think, as we're creating a space now of podcasts, and I think podcasts in the OCR world in the UK are going to grow because we're creating high quality podcasts. Apart from us here, we're still creating rubbish, but other podcasts are creating high quality.
Yeah, we'll still create the raw episodes that we know you like. That's what we know you like. So you're welcome, listener. But is Accountability Corner the only corner that we don't have in Swift Half?
We just don't have. That's why you want to treasure, isn't it, for accountability?
We have Apology Corner, we have Shameless Plug Corner, we have Race That Shan't Be Named Corner. We don't have Accountability Corner. No accountability is here.
Whatsoever. Drinking beer and not even training some days. There's no accountability.
While we're talking about podcasts, can I give you and Mr. Chung and your two guests, I was going to say flowers, but I'm going to say barbed wire. Because your episode the other day on Europe's Toughest Mudder, I almost forgot the race for a second. It was long. I think it's the longest we've ever produced.
Yeah.
But oh my, what a great episode. Listener, if you haven't already listened and you have about 3 hours to kill, put it on. And the reason I say 3 hours is it's only 2 hours long, but like me, you will listen and you will then go back on it and you'll listen again because you'll just hear little nuggets and you want to listen or you want to jot them down. So give yourself some time, listen, and you'll really enjoy it.
I've had a lot of comments sent to me about it, Ian, saying thank you for doing it. Much appreciated. They now know what to expect and things like that. And we gave some tips away. I gave tips away or my tips or what I think's tips and that. So I bet I missed loads though, because I know people have messaged me and said I've missed stuff.
Well, I was, and I'm going to give a shout out to Daniel Lister. Actually, I can shout him out. He won't hear this till Friday, but happy birthday, Dan Lister.
Oh, let's sing happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to you. Am I singing it on my own now? You're not singing it.
You're very much singing it on your own.
Happy birthday, Dan.
By the time he listens, it'll be too late. And I'm terrible at happy birthday, but we can go hip hip hooray if you really want to.
No, go on, carry on. Tell me about Dan.
I've completely lost my trail. Oh, I was doing what Dan does when he listens to this podcast. He says that he listens to me and you, and because he knows a lot, he just imagines we're in the next room and he shouts at the iPod or whatever he's listening to get involved in the conversation. And I was doing that listening to you and Will.
What were you telling us? Tell me what you were telling us.
Well, I had tips. There was additional tips that I want to give to the listener.
Go on. I want tips. If I've missed something, I need them.
Okay, one thing. Well, I'm not going to say I was surprised because it's more me than you. Goggles. You didn't mention on the kit list. Goggles are invaluable when it comes to Europe's toughest mudder.
Yeah. You see, I don't use them, so I know what you're saying because, and I guess what could be is some of them obstacles we're using. They've been used all day long, aren't they? So they're going to have mud and they're going to have a bit of rubbish in it. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, especially if you wear contact lenses and that.
Which I do. So a cheap pair of goggles. They don't have to be particularly great, just watertight. You can get them in Decathlon for probably about a fiver because you're going to throw them out afterwards, so it doesn't matter. You will thank me when it comes to Arctic enema, when it comes to anything where your head goes underneath. You're talking about cage crawl.
Yeah.
Cage crawl doesn't bother me because I can see. And reborn, you'll have no issue with it because you won't. You'll inhale the lovely smelling salts, but they won't impact your eyes.
Yeah. I think cage crawl, though, and I said this on podcast, I'm going to go in and go completely submerged and go through as fast as I can. I don't want that little bit of air just sticking up, my little mouth just sticking above, because that is a little bit confined space, I think. So I'm going to go really low, get deep in the water, and just go for it.
And that's a fine strategy. And I do something similar. What I would do, listener, is hold your nose with one hand and use another, grab the first as far as you can get and just throw yourself through and then move that hand and just grab, try and aim for the end of the cages where you can, and you'll get through it very quickly.
Good things.
So,
what else did you think of?
Well, I mentioned Arctic enema. Again, I cannot stress enough how good goggles are in Arctic enema because being able to just see underneath the water as you're going under, it's just a game changer. Another thing for Arctic enema, I can't believe you didn't say this, swimming cap.
Yeah, no, I forgot about it. It's on my kit list. But I just forgot about it on there because you're right. Mine will be inside. My swim cap will be inside my wetsuit because you're right. When you're going under ice, if it's full of ice, yeah, you need that swim cap because it stops that like head freeze, that mental block that you get. It does help. So yeah, mine's in me.
And also on Augustus Gloop too.
Oh yeah, I never thought about using Augustus Gloop.
Augustus Gloop, because you become almost immune to Augustus Gloop by just having a swim cap on and having goggles on as well. Again, you're not trying to win style points. It doesn't matter how stylish you look. Just go out there. Block nest, you mentioned about getting over it on your own.
Yeah.
One thing you didn't mention, which I only learned recently, and some people can do this, and it depends how the block is. If the block isn't in a diamond shape, so if the block is relatively leaning over towards you,
yeah,
get your foot on the bottom ridge.
Oh, right. Can your foot get on that?
Well, your hands can get on it. So if you can just get your toe on, it just gives you that boost to reach up and grab over.
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that. I was up trying to get into a square, maybe just off the square, so not the diamond, not quite the diamond. And then my plan was, if I'm on my own, was to jump and reach it. And then as it's coming back, it goes slow. If it's still, it goes slow to start with. And while it's going slow, then I was open to get my leg over and that, and not slide down to the side. Again,
depends how quickly it moves, because you could kick it and you could end up, you will never go under it because there's not enough space, but you could end up falling back. But if you can move quickly, the foot on the ridge can really help you. Again, it depends on you. Irish table.
Yeah.
You mentioned this when it came to the truss. I always approach Irish table from the side and try to belly flop on the structure.
Okay. So jump and belly flop?
Yeah. So again, try and do what Will said about using you had an argument of whether or not you could use the shelf bit. Yeah, if you can get one hand on there and then another hand underneath the Irish table or grip where you can. If you're tall and if you can jump, it's almost like you're talking about skid mark, getting your center of gravity.
Yeah.
If you go from the side and you're good enough, you'll be able to get your center of gravity onto the top of that structure.
I'm going to try that. My plan will be to try and backflip it, because that's what I've done on other things.
If you've got the core for a backflip, perfect, go for that. If, like me, you have the core for doing nothing, this helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another couple, Alan, don't worry, you did cover a lot. I did have like a list of 100 tips, and I was just checking them all off. Headlamp off for sliding dirty. For the love that all that is holy, and this goes for a few obstacles, put your headlamp down on your neck, make sure it's tied.
On sliding dirty?
Yes.
Is it what, because you think it's going to fly off, or because it's that
Yeah,
fast?
the potential. I saw Chris Leglowski, I always get it wrong. She lost her headlamp in sliding dirty at World's Toughest.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I've got videos of her almost getting knocked out of the race by trying to find her headlamp in sliding dirty.
So yes, so headlamp round your neck. I know I always put it round my neck when I go down out to Kenema. I always go put it round my neck down there. So yeah, good call. Good call.
Yeah, headlamp, neck, and if you're going to cross your arms, maybe just grab it in one hand as well, so it doesn't judder against your chest and give you a nice bruise. And speaking of that, I'm sure the marshals will do this anyway. Once you hit the landing part of sliding dirty, get out of that pond as quickly as you can.
Right, because if there's going to be people wanting to come down behind you,
there'll be people coming down behind you.
Yeah, get that.
Remember, it is a race. Final one, Alan. I think you covered this for the most part. DQ. Debbie asked about it.
Yeah.
You gave great advice. I will say, if you're in the medical tent, they will do their best to get you out of the medical tent. They're aware of how long you've got in order to carry on there. But keep an eye on it yourself. But I will say, listener, if you suffer an injury, don't be an idiot. It's better to bow out of a race than it is to hurt yourself and ruin the rest of your season.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I said this to Rob last night when we was out training, that if at any point I feel twinges or something that's not right, whatever I've done, I'm pulling out of it, because this is not my A race. For me, this is not my A race. For some people, it will be. And even if it is your A race, you're still going to have races booked for the rest of the season. So don't think you've got to complete your A race. It's not everything. It's not the be all and end all. Think of it long term.
No, and we'll mention this. There is nothing in the rule book that says you cannot hang around near an obstacle if you need to. So in particular, block nests, because block nests could, if you can't get over it, eventually they will reach the conclusion your body temperature is getting too cold and they will pull you from a race.
Yeah.
So be careful about that. Yeah. But make sure don't enter block nests until you can get out. And again, if you know when obstacles are closing, don't sprint to an obstacle that's about to close.
I saw that last year. Someone sprinting to Arch Kenema, and I knew it was going to close. And I was like 500 meters from it, and I was like, yeah, that's going to close. There's a chance of that closing before I get to it. I think it was about 100 meters when it closed, but there were other people dashing to it. Yeah.
And similarly, there is no shame in dashing past an obstacle that's about to open.
Yeah.
I think I'm done. Like I say, listener, there's only about 6 tips there. For about 94 more, listen to Alan and Will and Debbie and I want to say Leo,
yeah.
Over on this channel. In fact, look back at the last thing that we put out.
And it's done really well on listens as well. I think a lot of the Tough Mudder people are listening to it. While we're talking Tough Mudder, there is a non-official photo shoot for anyone who has got Tough Mudder ink on the start line at 6:30 p.m. I've been told today. So this is an unofficial one. So anyone who's got a season ticket with a pledge on and things like that, an unofficial photo shoot, get your ink out. I was told that by Matt Rigby today. I think if we're there, we'll take pictures and we'll share them as well. After all, I have got one on myself. I've got to take a picture and share.
That makes a lot of sense, and it does help you save a fair bit of money.
Very much so. This is your fault, Ian, because if you hadn't taken me to ETM 2 years ago, I would never have got back into Tough Mudder. It was never on my agenda to even try and get back into Tough Mudder. So it's your fault that I've got ink on my I've got a tattoo now with Tough Mudder on, and I'm attending every ETM I can get to.
Attending every Tough Mudder you can get to.
Attending every Tough Mudder I can get to, yeah.
There's a sense of irony. that at this moment in time, I'm not registered for a single Tough Mudder event. And I don't even know whether I'll get to any Tough Mudder event. We'll find out. I may come and visit Manchester and not actually compete. I might just come and hang out and check some people and see how they are. But Alan, for people like me who have neglected Tough Mudder, we can start looking forward to 2024.
Because they're releasing dates and venues and everything?
They are. The 2024 Well, before that, I need to point out on Bank Holiday weekend, the 26th and 27th of August,
yeah,
Berlin Tough Mudder.
Ooh. I don't get to go to that one free. Do I have to pay for that one, do I?
I'm not sure. You might need to reach out because I thought the tattoo was a worldwide pass. Ask Matt Rigby. I think he's had his since 2014, so he might be able to tell you what you can actually get with your tattoo.
I'll chat to him this weekend.
Yeah, give him a call. Tell him we're really sorry. We've still got your glass, by the way, Matt, and the other stuff and the patch and that. It's upstairs, and I won't be there this weekend. Sadly, I've got other plans. I mentioned this. I have the wedding of a couple of people who've been on the show previously.
Yes, you have, yeah.
So Neil and Heather, if you're listening to this before, good luck. After, congratulations.
Oh, congratulations, guys.
You like Neil and Heather. We had them on for after the Manchester High Rocks, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah. It was a good chat.
Great people. So anyway, getting back to 2024, the first race, Alan, it's not in the UK.
So the first race is Poland.
Not in Poland.
France?
It is in France. It's in Paris.
Ooh.
Oui, oui.
Is it in Paris, though? Or is it like London that's not really in London?
I don't know. Maybe get a flight to Barcelona.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, listener. Please don't get a flight to Barcelona wanting to go to Paris. But no, I'm not sure quite yet. I presume. Let's find out, Alan. Whilst I'm finding that out, the big unfortunate thing at the moment, Alan, is I'll just read this out. So far, released for 2024, London West on the 18th, 19th of May.
Yeah.
The week before, you got a Spartan there. Tough Mudder Midlands, 6th and 7th of July. So it's a bit later next year, but only by a week.
Yeah.
I want to say that might be tradition, or it may be that
that's not going to be ETM then, is it? That's not going to be ETM in July.
Well, it's only a week after this. Maybe 2 weeks. I think it probably will be ETM, to be fair. 13th and 14th of July is Manchester.
Right.
And 27th and 28th of July is Yorkshire. So nothing's in June. And what's traditionally in June on the Tough Mudder calendar?
Isn't that London? Isn't that Northwest?
No, it's a bit further north.
Scotland?
Yeah.
So do we think Scotland's going to be that? Oh, wouldn't that be interesting if ETM was Scotland?
Or more likely, Alan, maybe North Scotland.
Or maybe no Scotland. I heard Scotland was good.
I heard Scotland was an amazing event. I think people enjoyed it. And we don't know at this moment in time. All we know is that events after it have been announced. And thus far, Tough Mudder have not said either way. But we know it's not been confirmed yet.
I'd love ETM to be in Scotland. I think that would attract some proper. I think it's attract some. What's the word I'm looking for? A bigger crowd to Scotland. Because the people who do ETM are going to travel, aren't they?
Yeah, no, you're probably right. And to be fair, once they did do a ETM, there was going to be 2 ETMs in a year once, Alan.
Was there?
I don't know if. Yeah, back in the day, it never happened, sadly. But there was going to be, back in the day, there was going to be a Europe's toughest or Scotland's toughest mudder, they called it, up in Scotland, but it never happened.
Interesting.
But,
interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find out in the near future, but at this moment in time, Scotland is not on the calendar.
Maybe they're trying to sort out finances and the land and things like that.
It might be as simple as that. It might be as simple as they know that the people who are attending Scotland this year will likely attend Scotland next year.
Yeah.
So it's probably a case of looking at the kitty at the end of the year and deciding whether or not they can run the event.
Yeah, because some events are loss leaders, but you're looking then, just because that event's potentially a loss leader, and we think it is, this is just our opinion, yeah? I stress that here, and we don't want to get sued by anyone. this is just our opinion, that because its numbers are not up there with some of the other places, it could well be a lost leader. But that event up there will attract 50-60% of them probably won't come to the UK, but the other 56 would, and because they're purely based in that area.
Exactly. You don't know how many, because we've got some great Scottish listeners.
Yeah.
And the Scottish OCR scene is arguably one of the most vibrant when it comes to having committed athletes. Would you agree, Alan?
Yeah, very much so.
So you don't know how many additional people for other races you're missing out on by not giving them that introduction. Our good friend Graham Wells, I think his first ever race was a Tough Mudder Scotland. And now he's going 6 or 7 hours to get to Spartans.
Yeah. And he travels all over the place. And Martin and Kevin and our other good friends and that, they travel all over. And we've got so many good friends in Scotland that come and see us.
You do. And again, you need that introduction.
Yeah.
So if they're not going to do it where they've been having it, why not a Glasgow or an Edinburgh? If you can find a park there, do it similar to a Manchester one, what we used to call a city, and just get people there, because there is the appetite for athletic competitions up there. We saw it with High Rocks Scotland. It was sold out. It might have sold out quicker than some of the English events.
Yeah, definitely. Have we got any more Tough Mudder news? Or
well, I don't want to end on a sour note. So what I will say is good luck to everyone doing Europe's Toughest Mudder. I can't believe I'm missing my second one in a row, but I will get back to Europe's Toughest Mudder. I always love this event, always love this weekend. Good luck to you, Alan, at getting your 80K.
Yeah, big ask, but we're going to go and try.
I spoke to HR. You will have a P45 if you don't get 80.
I'm going to stop at 70 then. There we go. Wednesdays are back. Wednesdays are back.
Oh, no, wait a minute. You're going to get a P45 if you don't hit 80.
Changing the contract there. Changing the contract.
Of course. But yeah, good luck to absolutely everyone. Please tag UKOCR on socials if you are there, and we will share. The good thing about me not being there means that if you do tag UKOCR, we can share it, because Alan will probably be running and all that. And okay, I'm not going to share it through the night, but up to a certain point, and from the next day, we'll share anything that you want to tag us in.
Definitely. I've got some news on Spartan while we're at it.
What about Spartan?
So Spartan are partnering with Ultimate OCR. So this is World Obstacle, Spartan 3K. It's going to be over in Orange County. So this is in America. This is in the States. And they're going to be putting on the Ultimate 3K race, teaming up with Ultimate OCR. No mud, and it's indoor. Now, this is the big thing. It's indoorian.
Very interesting. I guess we've had stadiums which are very much indoor, but I wonder is it going to be a 1K loop or is it a 3K loop?
It says on here that it just has a 3K mixed with 20 obstacles. I don't think it actually says whether it's 1K or 3K. Now, I'm looking on it now while we're talking. Doesn't say. So I think the way I've read it, it's a 3K loop. So it says 3K of running mixed with over 20 obstacles, more obstacles, less running, no mud. So it doesn't talk about it being 1K loops and you're going around 3 times. So I'm thinking this is going to be a proper 3K race. 20 obstacles, 3K. Because the reason I don't think it's 1K loops is 20 obstacles doesn't go 3 ways.
No, that's true. No, that's true. Yeah, unless you have, let's say, if you're having 20 obstacles, it doesn't even work. I was thinking, could you get to 19 and then have a finisher obstacle? But no, that doesn't work. I guess you could have 18 and 2 finisher obstacles, but it just seems a bit awkward by that stage.
Yeah. So it's got to be, to me, it's going to be a 3K loop. I like it. Indoors, though.
Where's the venue? Does it say?
Yes, it does say Orlando. Let's have a quick look. I've seen something on it about it.
I presume that's Florida.
Yes. It just says Orlando, Florida. It doesn't actually give an actual location of where it's going to be.
So it could be anywhere from Jacksonville to Miami.
Well, yeah, I guess it could be. Is that all of Orlando? To me, Orlando's just where
Florida.
the that little area though, because it's Florida's the state, and I thought Orlando was quite small.
It was. I'm just making a joke about OCR geography.
Oh, I get that. £2,000 payout to first place elite male and female.
What's the payout to media?
It doesn't say. That is the big thing. I was having a quick look, see what we got. It just says nothing. It does say all entries will receive a medal and T-shirt for finishing. Top 3 in each class will receive a huge medal. So
a huge medal
and
huge $2,000
medal. Yeah. So this is happening on July 30th. So we're not a million miles away. So in 5 weeks' time.
It'd be interesting to see how. So is that part of their 3K series as well, or is it just a standalone event? Or does
I
it
think
not
it's
say?
a standalone. The way I'm reading it, it's a standalone. It just says, and it says mostly indoors throughout the arena. So I'm going to guess there might be some of the running might be outside, and then you come back in.
So it might be like a kind of stadium type thing. Whilst we're talking about Spartan, let's briefly mention DECA, Alan. DECA Malaga is this weekend, and good luck to Team MyZone over there. They have got 10 athletes out this weekend over in Malaga. So good luck to everyone there. I think I didn't check whether I could say this, but I think they have a great number of athletes out there. I think they over 500, nudging a few more, which is really, really good for like a DECA event, and particularly the first one of the season at a new venue.
Do we think DECA is going to get as big as High Rocks for an event? Can it get as big as High Rock? Because you've done them. I haven't seen a DECA, so you've done them. Can it get where you can get 2,000 and 3,000 in a day doing it?
I think you can, but I think the limitation on DECA is some of the workout stations are not scalable. We've talked about this before. High Rocks is very good in that pretty much everything bar the wall balls and the ergs, you're moving through space.
Yeah.
And with the exception of the wall balls, you do not have a one-to-one relationship with your judge unless you're doing the Elite 15.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas DECA, a lot of their workout stations, I almost call them obstacles, but a lot of their workout stations require people to be counting because you're in one area. It's great. What DECA has over High Rocks is because of that, you can make the same arena anywhere in the world because you know roughly how many box jumps, for example, you need and you can make it almost identicate throughout the world. So that's a good side. So the time should, in theory, be the same. But on the other hand, you do have this issue where you need a lot of volunteers. So if you're going to be running 1,000 people through or 2,000 people, you're going to need an army of volunteers because each station is going to need 12 to 15 volunteers operating it. That's over 100 volunteers.
Yeah. Oh, that's difficult then. That is super difficult.
And you can do it without, but that then leads to some people have said, they were doing burpees and no one was counting them. What DECA is very good at is getting into the gyms. They're doing the mile and doing the strong in the gym. That is a completely different experience for High Rocks, but it's a more intimate experience and lots of people really prefer it.
Cool. All right. Will they then do let's just say they do it at, which gym was it they did it? Clitheroe, was it Clitheroe they did it, the last one?
Clitheroe, yeah.
So the winners of Clitheroe, could they potentially go to the DECA World Championships, or is it invite only? Or
no, anything on the list. So if you do a recognised DECA event, you get a DECA mark, which is your time, and if it gets you on the leaderboard, you will go through.
All right, cool. There's not as much hype about that leaderboard then as the High Rocks leaderboard, is it? Because the High Rocks leaderboard is proper hyped up. We know. We look at it on a regular basis and we talk about this person going and that person jumping up. I don't hear the same vibe over the DECA leaderboard.
No, I think it may be, well, two reasons. One is the fact that in theory, and this is just a theory, it's quite a fair process.
Right, yeah.
Because in theory, all the races are the same. So you don't have the chatter about, this race was fast, this race was slow. In theory, at least, all of the races should be the same. I say in theory because when it comes to the gym-based events, you're still relying on volunteers at an actual Deca Fit event, but at a gym-based event, you are not relying on chip time.
Right.
You're relying on stopwatch. You're also relying on the volunteers to get the movements right as well.
Right. Okay. I get that.
So that's one theory as to why it's not hyped up. I think the other one is at the moment, we've not had any Deca Fits over here. So anyone on the Deca Fit leaderboard, which is what everyone will pay attention to, can only have done that in the USA at the moment.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And the final thing is they break it down like you do in Spartan. So you have elite, age group, and open. So unlike High Rocks, where you could run open and qualify for world champs, you don't really get that in Deca. If you're running age group, you'll qualify in age group. Running elite, you'll qualify in elite. And if you happen to be the 13th best elite who's never run an age group all year, too bad. You're not going to Worlds.
Ooh, that's a bit harsh.
It is, but is it not harsh on the people in age group who have run age group to not parachute in an elite athlete?
No, but I not to parachute in, but if you're running age group and your time is good enough to be top 10 elite, then you should be in top 10 elite.
Could be. But if you're running elite and you've not run an age group, which you're perfectly entitled to, should you go, oh, well, my time's better than the age groupers, why can't I run in my age group?
But to me, that's where it's wrong, because there shouldn't be an elite in an age group. It should literally be everyone's age group. But and then your times are based on you in that top 15. There's a top 15 of all the age group times. So you can have all your separate age groups, but the best 15 races out of all of them, they should be in your elite 15.
That makes sense. That's why High Rocks do it. Deca does it like Spartan does.
Yeah.
So as we know, whether it is appropriate, I'm not too sure because it is the same race. People keep asking me this: is there any difference between open age group and elite? Not really. It's the same workout station. So, and me and the intern doing this, we're running at Deca Clitheroe. We're running not elite. We're going to run age group, not expecting to do much. We're expected to be back of the pack. But we've got plans in the evening, so we need an early wave.
Yeah, I get that. And maybe that's why other people are running elite rather than age group or vice versa, because they want to at a certain time of day.
Potentially, Alan, potentially. And I will probably end on this when it comes to why there's not enough hype when it comes to the Deca World Champs. You can't auto-qualify at the moment. So unlike High Rocks, where you build up that excitement because, oh, I've won, I'm in Worlds,
yeah,
it's just about time at Deca. So you put down a time and you then hope no one beats you.
Right. Okay. I get that. Yeah. But then again, shouldn't High Rocks be that as well?
No, I'm not sure. I've always been a fan of racing your way in, and High Rocks can probably fit in the winner from every single race into their event. So why not at least give whoever wins the event a place at Worlds?
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense as well.
You can argue it both ways.
Yeah.
I would lean more towards I quite like the idea of, okay, could you have a situation where no one turns up and someone in the 30 to 34 age group where they're usually running an hour, if someone runs an hour 15, suddenly gets in? Yeah, it can happen. But what's it matter? They're one of 50.
But it's like me when I won Wolf Run, no one turned up. I just ran Wolf Run on my own and won it.
I know that you beat James Burton that day. Stop sparing James's feelings. I know that that loss to you spurred James on to become the elite athlete he is today. That was exactly what happened. But yeah,
hashtag Beat Burton was founded there and then.
Exactly. Hashtag Beat Burton. Final bit of Deca news. They are doing Deca Barcelona. They said at the start of the year, Deca Spain will be doing 4 events. They've had 3 events on the calendar for a ridiculous amount of time. Deca Barcelona, end of Spain, end of September.
Oh, nice one. Are you going to that one?
No, we're debating Barcelona or Tenerife is where we're debating at the moment. We are at Madrid. We're debating which one would make a better weekend away. So, listener, let us know.
Let's have a vote. Decker Barcelona or Decker Tenerife for Ian. The vote, and Ian will do whichever is the public one.
Probably not, but I will take it into consideration. The good thing about Tenerife is the fact that it's near that water park that you see, that really good water park where you go under the sharks.
Yeah, I like that one with a slide underneath.
And we've never been, and it's just around the corner, so that's tempting. The negative for Tenerife is it's the week before or after London. It's around that.
Right.
Barcelona is before all the High Rocks madness, and I quite fancy going to Barcelona, but it doesn't have water slides.
I'm sure they'll have something in Barcelona, maybe not a water, but a theme park or something close by, won't they?
Well, listener, let us know if you've been to Barcelona, you've been to Tenerife. Let us know which is the best. Alan, I think we've just got some British obstacle sports news to round us out.
Yeah, just a final push. They need 350, and they're doing an absolutely phenomenal job. We talk about this all the time. They are down to just 350 people required. I noticed, I want to say Stuart Jeffries did it, bought his partner a one for a birthday. So I think if anyone's got a partner coming up, do that £6 one where it's like a supporter. It's nothing. It's a great birthday present. You don't even have to tell them. Just get it for them. Just an extra £6. Let's get 350. I'm going to make Wendy a member. She'll never know.
I think the intern is already a member. I'll have to check. I think she was planning on running Spartan Elite this year, so I think she's already a member.
Yeah, she probably is.
She's probably a member. But
you'll have probably bought one just because, when you didn't want to get one, the intern got one.
That is probably quite true. I do have a habit of buying the intern stuff and then forgetting to buy me stuff. So, yeah, it's just the way it got. We missed it, though, Alan. It would have been a fine Father's Day gift for lots of people.
It would have. I see the interns testing the mace as well. I'm going to put this on the notes, but it just reminded me. She's testing her mace.
Yeah, when we visited Dina and Tom, we got talking at High Rocks Worlds. They had these strange little snake things, which were like mini sandbags, is how I best describe them. And the guy was saying that you fling it around and, almost like a samurai type thing. So you do all that with it. And the intern was starting to talk to this about Dina and Tom. And Dina said, oh, well, there's this guy who does it with a weighted mace. And the intern followed him, got in touch, and he told her we're best to get it. And the idea behind it, Alan, is that when we were prehistoric, I know that's not as long for some of us as it is for me. I remember that.
I remember when we were prehistoric, personally, yeah.
I remember when we were prehistoric. We didn't really move things in a straight line. Our body wasn't moved to like just push things forward or lift things above our head. We swung things, we threw balls, and it was very much about moving at the hips and all that. And that's the idea behind this kind of working out.
Right. So are you saying we should all take golf up?
Actually, yeah. Or mace. Yeah.
Or mace.
We should explain this is a weighted mace. I think it's about 4 kilograms. And you're thinking, Alan, 4 kilograms, fine, I can do that. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's blooming heavy.
I think Matt Roberts at Primal Fitness does something like this mace thing, but with a rope, if I remember rightly. And he says exactly the same thing as what you said. It's very much like the same sales pitch as you've just given, that when we were prehistoric, our bodies were meant to be moving. So as joints are moving, as every joint in his body moved and twisted. And that's what he does with these ropes, I believe. So
it makes a lot of sense, because if you think of like running's a full body movement.
Yeah.
Should weights be a full body movement?
Now, that's the strength v running conversation that we're going to have in a couple of weeks' time when we have time to do it.
When we finally have this strength versus running conversation. So, Alan, is there anything else on the notes other than strength versus running?
There is, Ian. Ian, there is. I have got excited. For the first time in 2 years, the Ram Run has posted a picture. They've only posted a picture. They've posted a picture of a ram. I don't know what it means. I'm just excited that the Ram Run is posting something. That makes me ecstatic, Ian.
Is it still Obstacle Race Magazine which has access to that page?
I believe it is, yes. I do believe it's Kevin and Carl that has access to that page. I think they bought it from Ian Exeter. They bought the the company from me in Exeter, so I don't know what's going to happen.
I know exactly what's good. I know exactly what this is.
Are you going to tell us before it happens or after it happens now?
I'm going to tell you now, listener.
Go on.
Yeah, RAM. Yeah,
Yeah.
RAM. Recycle and Move. Recycle and Move make these little items which you use in fitness racing called a RAM, which you see at Spartan events. Correct?
Yeah.
Spartan events run an event called Deca, which also has these RAMs.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Deca is coming to the Ram Run area of Derbyshire. I want to say we're having a Deca. The Bridge of Doom is going to host the first Deca fit in the UK. That's what that Ram means.
That's the best conspiracy theory I've heard all year. Oh, bless you, Ian. Bless you. I think you're wrong, but bless you.
Okay. Right. Well, on the plus side, I got a full house on my predictions for Rude Rampage. I got all 6 in the right order.
Yeah, you did. I thought you got all 10 in right order.
I probably did. I've not checked back. I might have got the 4th and 5th mixed up. I'll need to check. Have we announced who's won that, or do we do that?
I've been too busy, and I need to actually get on it and do it at some point this week. I'm going to do it Friday when I get a chance. Yes.
Don't worry, the results are not changing, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, wait, can I get my predictions in now?
Get your predictions in quick.
Okay. On that, I'm going to say thank you as always, Alan. It's been a great evening. Listener, it's a good night from me.
And listener, it's a good night from me. Thank you for listening. You take care. Speak soon. Love you all. Hopefully see you at ETM. Bye.
Hi, it's Tom Hogan here. You should buy Builder because the sheriffs are currently at my door. I've pumped all my money into this product and I need some sales quick.